preparing for Shabbat program. The reason that this program came to be is a bit of a selfish one. I have missed cooking with my mom, and every winter my mom will come from Winnipeg to Toronto and she will make knishes and stock my freezer. And I got to thinking about how we probably took for granted up until a year ago simple things like cooking Shabbat dinner with your family. So why not do it all together? And I see some people also reached out to their family and have your family members joining us, buddies, zadies, aunties, uncles, cousins, kids, whatever. And I think that's great. And if you didn't bring any family members with you, you are welcome to join my family. We are loud and we are chatty, but you'll learn to love us. So for my family right now, I have Safta in Toronto, I have Auntie Joyce in Montreal, Auntie Penny in Victoria, Auntie Judy in Winnipeg. I've got Erin in Toronto. I've got Auntie Frances in Toronto. And most importantly, I have my mother-in-law and father-in-law in Toronto. And I've got my mommy, Susan, who can unmute herself if she wants, because she is going to help us make knishes. So everything we make today is safe to be prepared tonight and then put in your fridge or freezer. Alternatively, like the chicken, we're going to prepare it. It takes 2 seconds to prepare. You're going to stick it in the fridge and you're going to cook it tomorrow. So everything we make today makes tomorrow super easy for Shabbat. So we are going to get started with our knishes. As I mentioned, your potatoes should already be cooked because that's going to be our filling. And if we wait for potatoes to cook, we're going to be here all night. So if you missed that step, you can get your pot of water going now and cook up some potatoes. But in the meantime, we are going to make our dough because it does need to chill. So I am going to do my best to speak at a normal human's pace. I'm like telling myself to slow down now. Oh my gosh, and to anyone who doesn't know, hi, I'm Ellie. I'm the Youth and Young Family Coordinator at Beth Tikva Synagogue. Welcome to our shul's virtual programming. It's so great to have you here. Back to cooking. All right, so guys, I've got my Cuisinart here. And I'm going to start by making a super simple dough. So if you are cooking along with me and you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. And if Gail and I both miss it and you're like, oh my God, you've gone 20 steps ahead, you can unmute and yell at me. I'm ready for it. Okay. So we're going to start with scant 2 cups of flour. Mama, what does scant mean?
Just under.
Okay. I did not know that.
You may have to go just over. You'll see.
Just under, just over, roughly 2 cups of flour. And I'm using all-purpose flour.
Hi. Wow, lots of people. I think I will switch it. Okay.
All right. Just a friendly reminder to mute yourself when you log in.
Pardon me?
Just reminding you to mute yourself when you log in. Okay, so we've got our scant 2 cups of flour. We're going to do a pinch of salt. The dough is not particularly salty. We're going to really heavily season the innards. So I'm just going to put a little bit of salt. I'm going to crack in 1 egg. That was an aggressive crack. Holy moly. Okay. So I'm putting everything in. I'm dumping everything in at once. I've got a teaspoon of white vinegar. So to anyone who may have just can't come on into our food processor, we have scant 2 cups of flour, a pinch of salt, 1 egg, and 1 teaspoon of vinegar. And I'm going to do, where did it go? Half a teaspoon of baking powder. I don't really know why there's baking powder in this. It's not going to rise, but Mama says to do it, so I'm doing it. A big reason for having my mom here is I would be panicking normally while making these and be calling her anyway, and we can't do that while teaching a class. So here she is. The last thing we're going to do is half a cup of vegetable oil. If you don't have vegetable oil, canola oil is fine. And if you absolutely have to, use olive oil. It's fine. So I'm doing half a cup of that and half a cup of lukewarm water. Okay. How's everybody doing? I'm going to do a quick little scroll through to see if any of my fellow cooks are doing okay.
You're going so fast that we're not keeping up.
I'm going to repeat everything right now for you then before I continue.
But is it okay? Do we have the recipe somewhere we can see?
Do I put it here?
Go ahead.
I sent a prep list when you registered.
No,
And,
there's no recipe. It said the recipe is going to come while you're running it.
yes, so I tend to send the recipe after the fact, but I will send it to you all right now. It's going to go directly into the chat.
Amazing.
One moment, everybody.
You can't do those.
Just a reminder to just mute yourself once your question. Okay. So I've sent the recipe, and just one more time, I'm going to repeat for everybody. We've got in our food processor 2 cups of flour, a little pinch of salt, half a teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 egg, half a cup of vegetable oil or the oil of your choice, and half a cup of lukewarm water. Penny, you went ahead. I can see you. Okay. All right. So Auntie Penny got ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix this on the food processor until it comes together as a ball. Now, the reason Mom is here again is her directions were mix it until it's right, which is nonsense. We actually worked together to make a family cookbook, and I had to translate mix it till it's right 25 times. So she's going to show us what it looks like, and maybe we'll scroll through if anyone needs a hand to see if theirs looks right. But it should all come together as a ball. And Mommy, is it sticky?
It's not sticky. It's sort of, it's moist, but it's not real sticky.
Tacky.
You'll see.
We'll see.
It's tacky.
We're going to make some see. All right.
I wish I could be there to help. Ready?
There is no vanilla in this. It's a savory dough. Just
No.
question.
You actually said vanilla instead of white vinegar.
Did I now? Well, good
Yeah,
catch.
you did.
I'm used to making cookies. Vinegar, not vanilla. Thank you for catching that. All right, I'm gonna mix this up now without any vanilla.
I didn't even hear it.
Do you pulse it or do you mix it?
Perfect. That's how it should look in your food processor. Way to go, Al.
All right, Mom. I think it's, oh, I see what you mean. It is,
It's
I never remember,
moist.
but I only make it clear. It's moist. That is actually an apt description. I would call it more oily than moist. So everybody, we're going to take
It
the
is
dough,
oily.
come together in a ball. And we're just going to wrap it in some plastic wrap. And normally, I would tell you to stick it in the fridge for an hour, or half an hour. We don't want to spend that much time on that today, so I'm going to recommend that we just stick it in the freezer to chill quite quickly. And where did my saran wrap go? And just by the way, if anyone is still looking for COVID activities, making a family cookbook was the best thing my mom and I did. Back in the beginning when we thought this was like a 6-week thing, we gave ourselves a little project. There's our cookbook. And it's fantastic.
And what we did is Ellie and her sisters decided that we should have all the recipes that we used as a family, and they should be all together, because one day I'm not going to be around to make the recipes for them. So they all gave what they wanted, and Ellie and I put it together, but Ellie did all the work with all the pictures. So we have family pictures throughout, including my mom, my mother-in-law, Judy, Penny, And it's been wonderful because we have all of these wonderful recipes that we've enjoyed. And there's my grandmother who did the gefilte fish.
So
So
this
we
is our
have all-
recommendation for you guys. It's a really fun little family memento. We printed for everyone in the family. And that's actually our Knish recipes in it. So,
Published it, Ellie.
sorry.
Who published it?
I did it on Shutterfly, and I do recommend having an editor. My Auntie Penny is an editor by trade and noticed all of my typos. So, just a fun fact.
But having typos makes it real.
There you go. But if you guys want to know like links or anything to make your own, just shoot me an email and I'll send it to you. Okay, I've lost my spotlight.
So
One
all
moment.
of our pictures are in there with the food.
Awesome. Okay, so guys, we're going to move on to our filling. Okay, so very simple filling. It's onion and potato. So we're going to start by cutting our onion. I like to do a little bit of knife safety with everyone whenever we do this because I have a cousin who cuts everything with a bread knife and it drives me insane. So just a few tips for knife safety. The sharper the knife, the safer it is because a blunt knife will roll. And whenever we're cutting anything, we're going to tuck our little fingers in so that your knuckle is showing while you hold something. Because if I do this, you can't cut myself. So that's my little tip. Don't cut yourself while cooking with me, please and thank you. So we're going to cut one cooking onion. And my mom uses like a little chopper because she likes it to be very fine dice. I'm going to show you how I do it without fancy contraptions.
I can't see you, Ellie, right now. All I see is this other
You
woman.
can't see.
Yeah,
That woman. You know
I
what?
can
I'm going
see
to
you.
remove both of our spotlights and I'm going to try to bring it back. One moment. Mama, I'm removing your spotlight. Okay. So I'm spotlighting for everyone and I'm adding a spotlight. Can everybody see me now?
Now I can see you. I also have one question. Did you say you put it in the freezer or the fridge, the dough?
I put it in the freezer just because I want to quicken
Yeah.
the process. Normally it would go in the fridge for half an hour.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going
Ellie
to
likes to chop and I like to use my little chopper.
yes. So we'll cut our onion in half.
Onion.
And we're going to just take off the outer layer because that's the slippery bit. I know most of you know how to cut an onion, but we're doing this, so. Okay. So to get a nice fine dice, one of the best compliments I ever had was from Bubby Charlotte telling me that I cut onion beautifully. So gotta show it off. So we're going to start by cutting across 4 times, or as many times you can safely do. I did 2.
Some things out here.
And then we're going to cut.
Put one model, salt
down.
and pepper.
Just a reminder, everybody, to just mute yourself once you join us. Thank you so much.
My salt and
Of course. Okay, and so now I'm going to cut down as many times as I can. And then I chop down. And now I should have a nice little dice of onion. So this onion is going to go into our 2.5 pounds of boiled potatoes, which hopefully everyone who's cooking with us has already done. And once more, I'm going to cut an onion for you guys. So I go across.
Were we supposed to have the potatoes boiled already?
Yes, we were supposed to have the potatoes boiled
I
already.
didn't know that. I'm just boiling mine right now.
That's
I wasn't aware of that.
no worries. You know what? I was a little concerned that that was something that could get missed on the prep list. So boil your potatoes and you will still get a lot from this class, even if you can't cook it exactly in time with us. Don't worry. Because while those are boiling, you're going to work on your onions with me. So I've cut my onion. And a tip, if you guys cry a lot while cutting onions, is chewing gum. and sticking your head in the fridge. Or you could be like me and wear contact lenses, which for some reason protects my eyeballs. So this is not a healthy recipe. I feel like I should say that now. So into my pan, I'm going to put a 1/4 cup of oil. Once again, I'm going to use vegetable oil. I'm also eyeballing it because it's like my mom says, it just has to look right. So it's a lot of oil. And I'm going to put my onions directly into it. And we're going to cook it on medium heat. We just want them to be translucent. We don't want brown onions. We want them to hide in our potatoes. And we're also going to season them very, very heavily. So you guys are going to come with me to my stove. And this is a good time if anybody has some questions, if I did something too quickly, because I'm going to sit here with my onions and just let them cook for a few minutes. And while they're sitting here, I'm going to season them heavily with salt and pepper because this oil that is in our onions is going to help season and moisten our potatoes. Because normally if you're doing a mashed potato filling for something, you would have butter or cream or milk. We're obviously not doing that because this is going to be with our chicken dish. So we're using heavily seasoned oil. So I've got salt and I've got pepper.
You're going to use a lot of salt and pepper for flavored because the dough is bland, so and potatoes are bland. So lots of onion, oil, salt, and pepper gives it the flavor.
Whereas mommy would say gives it tongue.
The more the better. My family is big into a lot of flavor.
Okay. So Sandra, the potatoes were boiled in advance, but if you are doing them now, plop them in your water now and just get those cooking. We want them nice, soft, and mashable. And is everyone okay with the dough, or does anyone need me to go through it one more time?
Ellie, it's Doris, and there are a few questions. Can I read them out to you while you're cooking?
Yes, please.
So someone asks, what happens if the dough doesn't come together?
Put in more flour.
Okay.
Just add a bit of more flour.
Okay, good. And someone,
was the dough too crumbly or was it too like sticky?
they didn't say, they just said, what happens if it doesn't go together? So maybe they can add now to their question. Another question was, did you put it in the potato? So, I mean, I think what they're asking is, did you put your onions in the potato yet? But
not yet. Those
yeah.
my potatoes have been boiled. They're just sitting ready, waiting, and my onions are cooking now.
Okay, great.
You're scenting my hair.
No, so we're good.
We're good. Okay. That was a tiny question. I feel okay about missing them. Except not. Okay.
If you're going to make them tomorrow for Shabbat, do you still have to wrap it in plastic and put it into the fridge?
Yes, I would keep it in the fridge until tomorrow. And then before working with it, it might get too hard. So you might want to just bring it out like a half hour before you want to prep and let it come to room temperature.
No, but if you're making it fresh tomorrow, then it doesn't have to go into the fridge, right?
It does. It does. You need to chill the dough a bit just because once you make it, you'll see it really is quite sticky or tacky or moist, as my mom put it. So you want to firm it up a little bit in the fridge.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. These also freeze beautifully. As I said, my mom used to just like stock my freezer with these. Does anyone else have any questions? My onions are like 2 minutes away from being ready. Awesome. Okay, you guys are doing great. I'm going to flip through and see if anybody's cooking along with me. How are we doing? We have a lot of Winnipeggers here. Hi, Winnipeggers.
Oh, I haven't seen any.
We've got Winnipeg represented here today and ex-Winnipeggers.
Oh, I see.
Ellie, you have a question. My onions aren't really frying. What should I do?
Pick up the heat. I'm on medium heat right now. And make sure you do, like, I have a fair amount of oil here. You can hear it sizzling.
What temperature do you have it set at? Is it medium, medium?
I have it at medium, but if you're finding that nothing's happening, you can put it up to medium high. Okay. So it kind of smells like confit here. And the point when you're cooking your onions, as I said again, we're not frying them. Like, we don't want them to be a brown. We're just trying to get them to be translucent. And what that's doing is flavoring our oil. So mine are soft and translucent. And a few are turning a little crispy. So that's my sign that I want to stop. Right, Mama?
I'm sorry?
Mine are starting. I have a few that are getting a little crispy. So that's a good sign that I'm done.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, please stop.
Okay. Wonderful. So as I said before, we have 2.5 pounds of potatoes. Some of us cook them in advance. Some people might just be waiting for those to finish boiling. I'm just flipping through to see how people are doing in their kitchens. Okay.
Ellie, do you have a
All right.
preferred potato you use?
So these are baking potatoes.
baking?
Yes, it's the same thing. Yeah.
And your mom, does she use baking potatoes or yellow potatoes or?
I use whatever I have, or I just buy a big bag of potatoes. It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's whatever you like.
I like baking potatoes just because they're good. They're really just for leftovers. They got the right starch content. What?
Al,
What's that, Mom?
someone just asked if our cookbook was for sale.
Oh, well, it was stupid expensive, so I won't charge you the $100 that we paid to get it printed. But hey, if someone likes it and wants to publish it, maybe we'll get it for a better price. But Sandra, one day when we're all together, I will just show you my cookbook. It's got some, I said it's like 50 shades of brown because my favorite type of food is brown. So there's brisket, there's latkes, there's cheese muffins, there's potato knishes. It's just beige and brown. I sprinkled parsley every once in a while because I realized it was missing color. And actually there's one page that I was so proud of because it's a strawberry spinach salad. And I found a picture of my Zadie and me, and we're in green and pink, and it matched so well. And I was so excited that my outfit in the picture matched the recipe that I did not include the recipe. I completely forgot it. So anyway, good cookbook. I am mashing my potatoes now. I'm using a potato.
Can I ask you a question? My dough did not
Yes.
come out well.
See it?
Are
Well,
you
I
on? May I
needed
see
it.
Who's talking? You needed it.
I ended up needing it.
Do you have any? I think that looks fine.
Well, it didn't spin it the way it should in the Cuisinart.
It didn't fit in. As long as it's come together, you should be good. What does it feel like?
It feels like dough.
It feels like dough.
It's a little oily.
That's okay.
It's meant to be oily. No, I think it actually is perfect.
I'm making it with sweet potatoes.
You're making
Well,
it with sweet potatoes? It sounds delicious. I've experimented with this before. I've added like.
I want to see how you make your knishes. I'll show you my knishes. I have mine in the freezer.
All right, so everybody, I've got my potatoes mashed. That was way more work than I thought it would be. I probably should have used a way bigger bowl. And I'm going to add the onions. And I'm not going to add all of the oil that's in the pan. I'm going to wait to see if my potatoes seem really dry and we want them to be able to hold together. I'm going to add a little bit more oil, but I don't want to add all the oil because there's no taking it out. So I'm going to start by just adding my onions. We always like if you have leftover of this potato mixture, it makes a nice shepherd's pie or potato kugel. Okay. So I'm starting just with the onions and a little bit of oil that came with it. And I'm mixing it all together. I'm using my potato masher just because I find it easier, but if you want to use your spoon or spatula, that is also fine.
That's what I did.
Sorry, Sandra just asked a question. You said, can you repeat it? Which part would you like me to repeat? If it's about the filling, it's just the 2.5 pounds of boiled potato and our 1 onion that's been cooked up in vegetable oil with lots of salt and pepper. All right. So this is definitely looking a lot less dry. I'm going to add the rest of my oil. This is what it looks like right now. But it's still like there's a rogue potato that escaped me. I want it to be able to come together a bit more nicely. So I'm adding the rest of my oil. This is in place of butter or dairy. And I'm just going to mix this all up together.
Ellie, start adding salt and pepper.
Oh, yes. So as we were saying, this needs a lot of salt and pepper because potatoes are bland. In fact, if you ever make a soup that is too salty, add a potato to it and it'll soak up all your salt and all your flavor. So I'm going to start adding salt and pepper and taste as you go. It's like, if you find it tasty, it's the correct amount. Rhonda is here with us and we make fun of her because she never adds pepper, but we add an excessive amount of pepper that makes her like mouth go on fire. So I'm going to add a ton of pepper.
It truly does.
Hey, Ron.
Oh,
What can I
Hey,
say?
Ron.
I'm a bland eater. Hi. How are you?
Good,
Long
how
time
are
no
you?
talk.
I know.
Okay. How's everybody doing with their potato mixtures? If you're cooking along with me. I don't hear any complaining, so I think we're doing okay. So I'm just gonna have a quick taste. I can tell already that I'm gonna need so much more salt. Yeah. I'm switching to something with a heavier pour. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna finish this up. And that's the entire filling. So really, I feel like this is the essence of really good Jewish soul food is there's not that much ingredients. There's not that many steps. It is fairly simple. All right, because it is COVID times and I'm sharing these with people, I'm gonna use another spoon to taste that again.
When do you add the other spices, the paprika and stuff?
That is actually for the chicken.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would make it delicious, but it's for the chicken. Okay, my potatoes are done. And so I'm gonna set them to the side. And we are going to do the really patchy bits. And we are going to start rolling out our knishes. So you're going to want a nice floured surface. I'm going to start with that. I'm unnecessarily fancy with my marble dough board.
You see mine?
I can see yours, Mom. And I'm gonna grab my dough from the freezer. Okay. So I believe, Mama, we're gonna divide this into
Ellie.
three.
Ellie, sorry, do we need a cookie sheet or anything? Do we need a,
Yes.
We'll be putting everything on a lined cookie sheet, yes.
so just have that ready as well?
You can have it ready. Absolutely. Okay. So everybody, I know people were saying like maybe the dough isn't right. It is supposed to be rather greasy. As I said, this is not a healthy recipe. So I'm coating mine in flour just to make it easier to handle, and I'm dividing my dough into three. And the funny thing about this recipe is I don't use a knife. I'm using my hands for everything, and you're going to see why. So I'm just going to cut this into three.
Ellie, are you working on a wood cutting board?
I have a marble cutting board that I was told was a stupid thing to put on my wedding registry, but haha, I use it all the time. Granite is actually, if you're rolling dough, a stone board is the best thing to have, just because it keeps everything nice and cool. But it is by no means a necessity. So I divided this into three, and I'm just going to coat it in some flour. I'm going to start rolling, and I want to make it into a rectangle. Mama, you're getting ahead of even me.
Sorry. Because I have 4.
Stop right there. You did 4? Okay. And Ma, it's not supposed to be a particularly like deep triangle, right? Because we're only rolling it once.
It's a rectangle, and it whatever shape it sort of shows, it's okay. There's never a wrong way.
Yours is pretty big. Okay, but there's like a little bit of a wrong way. This is why writing a cookbook with her was so difficult, guys. Okay.
I don't give her.
So I'm gonna wait a moment. I want everybody to. Okay, I just want to see. I want to make sure everyone's rolled their dough. Hi, Norma. And
I just want my dough done.
how are we doing? Okay. I see some rolled dough, so I think we're going to keep going. Mom, I'm going to hand this over to you.
Okay. So once we have our rectangle, we're going to take the potato and we are going to make it like that. See, and put it along the edge, a little above the edge.
How big is the log of dough? Like, would you say it's like an inch in diameter?
Yeah. And you do it from one end to the other, as you can see.
Here, Mom, hold on 1 second.
Okay, I'm okay. You there?
Okay.
Okay, then you take one piece and you roll it over. And you have to roll it tight. So you give it one roll over, and then you pull in the ends. Okay? And you just keep rolling it to the end. There, and that's how it looks.
All right, so Mom, I think before you do the next step, I think I'm going to roll one more, just in case anybody missed that.
Okay.
All right, everybody. So if you have your floured surface, I have to say this dough does feel really nice. And so I guess the key here, Mom, is to roll it quite thin.
It should be very thin.
She's not agreeing. Okay.
A cheating way of making knishes is buying puffed pastry and rolling it out too.
That's a little cheap. Okay, everyone. So once again, I have rolled my dough into a thin rectangle, and I'm taking my potato filling and making a log about an inch from the bottom. And you can see now why we wanted it to sort of be able to hold together with the help of that vegetable oil, because it's kind of standing alone here. That was a huge lump of potato. Absolutely not. Okay. And however big you make the potato log, sort of like that's dictating how big your knish is going to be. So whatever you do. So we're going to take the end and we're going to wrap it over. Is it okay if it tears? Because we're going to roll. And then you're going to roll the edges, take the ends.
Ellie, roll it once first. Oh, okay. I was going to say roll it once first.
Oh. I'm going to roll. The idea is to have the ends sealed tight.
That's true.
And then I roll it all the way up. And as Mommy said, roll it quite tight.
Okay.
How's everybody doing?
Now your knife to cut the knishes is your hand. And the reason why is you want it to stick together. So you put your hand in some flour, and I do it about 1.5 inches, and I cut it. So that's how it looks when it's cut. So let's see how it's pinched together. Then you put it down with, and with 4 fingers, and you make the hole.
I'm going to do that again slowly. So
I'll
you're
do
going to
another one.
So you take your hand instead of a knife, and you're going to cut your shape. And see, now it's pinched at both ends. And I'm going to take one of the pinch sides and I'm going to hold it in all my fingers and I'm going to push it down. And it's made a circle. And now I'm going to just roll. And I'm going to pinch again and roll it until it's that classic knish shape. How's everybody doing with that?
Hi, can you do it again, please?
Oh, absolutely. So I cut it with my hand. And again, we don't do it with a knife because a knife would cut it too cleanly. And then
my mother told the story that when she made them the very first time as a young married woman, she had cut them with a knife, and my father came home and she was chasing the potato as it escaped all of the knishes because they weren't pinched on the end with the hand.
So this is important. So we've got it pinched. And then on one side, I'm going to take my fingers here and I'm going to smush it down and then I'm going to roll it. And so I pinch down and I roll it. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it many times. I have a lot of knishes to make. So I cut it with my hand and then I take one side and I pinch down. You can be more gentle than me. I'm being really rough with these little guys. Pinch and shape it into a nice circle and pinch. Shape.
And this piece of dough, I've got 6 because I'm doing 4s.
Oh, because you split your dough more than me.
Yeah, I split my dough in 4. That's what Auntie Judy taught me.
I made a mistake.
You never make a mistake.
Okay, so these are knishes, guys. They look fancy, but they're actually pretty easy to do. So I'm just going to finish this little roll.
If you're making them for a party, you can make them smaller. And they can be cocktail knishes.
I've never heard of knishes as something posh, like a cocktail knish. Okay.
One time they were.
That made me giggle.
That's what I'm good for.
Yeah. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 10 out of mine.
Well, you have 3.
Yeah. Okay. So that, my friends, are knishes. And you would bake them in your oven. You can put them on your lined cookie sheet. And you're going to bake them in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. They're going to be nice and golden on top. If you notice that they're getting too brown, pull them out because remember your filling's already cooked. All you're cooking is the dough. I'm not doing mine now because when my oven hits 400, the smoke detector goes off and the baby's asleep. So I'm actually going to put them in the fridge and cook them tomorrow. Once they're cooked as well, they freeze really nicely and you can reheat them whenever you like in a 350-degree oven. For like, how long would you cook them for when you reheat them? Susie Q?
I'm sorry?
If you're reheating frozen knishes, how long would you cook them for?
Probably to half an hour or so. I
Half
just
an
put them on a cookie sheet and then I put some tin foil over. I think a lot of people, Winnipeggers who know me that have been to my house Rosh Hashanah, that's one of our staples. Every fall with Ellie's youngest sister, we make knishes, we make kreplach, and we make soup mandolin. So, and then I have it for quite a long time.
And just to answer Francis's question, to use all the potato filling for the knishes, I tend to have a lot left over. It makes a delicious topping for a shepherd's pie. It also makes a nice potato kugel. You can just put it into a Pyrex pan and bake it. I'm not looking at anything here. Here you go. Or you could just eat it straight from the bowl. I think it's delicious. Does anyone else have any questions about the knishes before we move on to our super easy make ahead chicken?
How much is it? How many minutes is it again in the oven if you're going to cook them tonight?
20 minutes.
Thanks so much.
No problem. And just keep an eye, because if your oven's a little hotter than ours, it might brown a little quicker.
20 minutes at 350, Ellie?
At 400.
At 400, okay, thanks.
Yeah. We're like flash cooking these bad boys. Does anyone else have any questions about these? I'm just going to finish up my little log of knishes.
Ellie, do you do an egg wash on top?
No.
I do not.
Okay.
No, these brown beautifully without. I mean, an egg wash wouldn't hurt. In fact, if I was doing puff pastry, I would probably put an egg wash on it. How's everybody doing? Does anyone want to like hold theirs up to the camera? I want to see how you did. Good job, Meltzers. Very nice, everyone.
Make sure there's no Morty around.
Okay. Oh, Linda, beautiful. Yes, if you have dogs, keep them away. Mine
My
famously
potatoes
ate.
actually cooked quite quickly, so I was able to pretty much keep up with you.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, so I'm going to put my knishes to the side, and we're going to do the simplest chicken recipe you've ever seen that is delicious. And you can make it ahead tonight and pop it in your oven tomorrow. And then you've got your knishes, you've got your chicken. You can toss together a green salad. Hey, Andy Judy, good job. Yeah, you can toss together a green salad. My family probably won't be having a green salad. We're just going to be meat and potato people because we're healthy. Okie dokie. So I'm going to get rid of my baking stuff for a moment. While everybody finishes this up, what we're going to need now is a whole chicken. So you can have a whole chicken like I'm doing. You could be fancy and spatchcock it. You could have bought it in pieces. The point is you want a lot of chicken. But also if you didn't have a whole chicken, if you have just thighs or just polkas or just breasts, this is still going to be delicious. Okay, so I've got my giant chicken here. And if we were making this on the day of, I would put the chicken on the pan. I would sprinkle everything on the pan and throw it in the oven. But what we're doing instead to make life easier for tomorrow is I'm sticking everything into a Ziploc bag. And it's actually going to marinate the chicken overnight and make the flavors even better, even more robust. And I don't have to do anything tomorrow, so it's great. So I'm actually going to start by making my seasoning blend because I want to touch my chicken last. So everybody
Can you wait 2 seconds, Al?
Oh, I'm still making knishes.
Well, I'm going to be making knishes forever, but I want to do the chicken with you too. So let me just finish these ones and I can finish those.
Okay, I'll just tell everybody what ingredients to have handy. So we are going to have our chicken. We have chili powder. We have cinnamon. And we're using smoked paprika. If you don't have smoked paprika, regular paprika is totally fine. If you don't have cinnamon, you could use pumpkin spice. You can use allspice. You just want something with a little like of an earthy flavor. And then we have olive oil and we have maple syrup. Someone said they sent their husband out to grab maple syrup already. So everyone's ready to go, hopefully. Except for my mom.
Sorry.
Okay, and we've also got salt and pepper. So into my bag, I'm putting 1 teaspoon of chili powder. And again, if you were doing this like tomorrow when you're actually cooking your chicken, you could just sprinkle this all directly onto the chicken on your baking sheet. So it's 1 teaspoon of chili and 1.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Or regular paprika, whatever you have.
Sorry, I'm just getting here.
That's okay. I went on without you, Sue.
Pardon?
I went on without you. I made the mistake of teaching my son that Bubby's name is Bubba Sue, and now he just calls her Sue. So I need to fix that. All right, and now I've got my cinnamon. It's just 1/4 teaspoon. It's a little bit, but you really do taste it.
Ellie, what was the second spice after the chili?
It was the smoked paprika, and it was 1.5 teaspoons.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm also just going to put in some salt and pepper. You don't need a lot of salt with kosher meat, obviously, because it's already been salted, but I like salt. I'm going to put some salt. And I'm going to put some pepper.
I'll just grab the recipe.
And I'm going to shake it all up. So I have a seasoning. Now I'm going to add my chicken. I'm going to coat it all in the spices, and then I'm going to add the liquids. So pardon me while I get salmonella-y. Okay. Does anyone have any questions though while I'm dealing with the chicken? It could be about the knishes. It could be about my mom. Whatever.
Can you also do this with chicken breast instead of a whole chicken, instead of chicken pieces?
Absolutely.
Deboned chicken
Yeah,
breast?
you can do it with chicken breast. Yeah, you can do it boneless, skinless. The seasoning and everything will still be delicious. But obviously your cooking time will go way down. So if you're doing just chicken breast, I would do 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Whereas with the whole chicken, I'm doing it for a full hour.
You got the whole chicken out there, Ellie, or pieces?
I have a whole chicken. I made a mistake. Okay. So
Ellie, can you cut the maple syrup? Ellie, can you reduce the maple syrup if someone didn't want as much sugar? What do you think?
Absolutely. And the way this recipe works, if you're doing it again in person, is you would drizzle it on top. So not even all of the maple syrup gets on the chicken. You can reduce it to like 2 tablespoons if you'd like, or 1 tablespoon. It's really your taste. Okay, I'm putting my chicken in the bag.
Elle, have you put in the olive oil and everything yet?
I didn't know. You're teaching this with me. Where have you been?
I got behind.
Okay, I'm just gonna wash my hands, everyone. I haven't put any liquid in yet, Mom.
Spatchcock the chicken.
Yes, my mom is posh and she spatchcocked your chicken. Another thing you can do with this recipe is you can lay some vegetables underneath the chicken or around the chicken, and then you've got your entire meal. It's basically a sheet pan meal. So I've got my chicken. I'm going to, oh my God, it's too big for my bag. That was good. I'm going to close up the bag, and I am going to shake it up. This is like poor man's shake and bake. And just get it nice and coated with my seasoning blend. Can I say the spices again? Absolutely. So we've got 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika. If you don't have that, regular is fine. And then 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then salt and pepper to taste. Okay. So now I have got my bird all seasoned up. And all I'm going to add now is 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm eyeballing it. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. And 1/4 cup of maple syrup. But as we were saying, if you're not a fan of sweet, or if you want to keep your sugars less than crazy, do less. If you're more into honey, honey would be fine as well. I don't know which one's healthier, if either of them is healthier. So I'm doing 1/4 cup of maple syrup. And once again, I'm just going to seal up my little baggie. How are you doing there, Mama?
Pardon? Oh, I just
How are
got
you
a
doing,
little,
Mama?
I got a little behind.
Okay.
I caught up.
And so I've coated everything, and that's the entire recipe. So it's super easy. And tomorrow, when you want to cook this, you're going to stick it on a lined baking sheet. What I often do is I put it on a roasting pan because some of the maple syrup will cool and it could burn and blacken in the hot oven. So I like to put it in a roasting pan so that it's slightly raised. And then I cook that for 50 minutes to 60 minutes. Keep an eye on it. You don't want all your spices burning. How much oil? That was 3 tablespoons of oil. Yes, and it's cooked at 400. Oh my gosh, it's not 400. It's 425 degrees. So it's a very hot oven for a very long time. And that's it. And as I said, you can put carrots, yams, zucchini, onion, whatever you want underneath. And then you've got your veggies for the night.
Another good thing to put is butternut squash.
Yum. Yeah, that's it. So I've got dinner ready for tomorrow, but I am here if you guys have any questions about what we've made so far. Oh, and obviously stick this in the fridge. I feel like I didn't say that, but I should have. This lives in the fridge overnight. Okay.
So we didn't get nearly as many knishes as you did.
How many did you get?
We got 15, I think.
Are they gigantic?
Pardon?
15.
Are they gigantic?
Well, they're kind of, I guess they're a little bigger. So, and we had so much filling left over, I just made another batch of dough.
Perfect. Ellie, do you want to show them what to do with leftover dough?
So if you do have leftover dough, which it sounds like most people have leftover filling.
Filling, yeah.
What we do is apple strudel. So all you need to do is roll it out, put some breadcrumbs down to soak up apple juices, and then you put sliced apples, you sprinkle some brown sugar and some cinnamon, and you roll it up. And how long would you bake that for, Ma?
I don't know, ask Auntie Judy because that's her recipe.
Okay. Auntie Judy is still there, she can let us know. But yeah, the dough is basically also, you can use it
About
for
40.
savory or sweet.
Yeah. 30 to 40. So when you pull out at the dough, I usually do half the dough. I do a little bit of oil or a bar of margarine, and then the breadcrumbs, and then you cut the apples, slice the apples, you put it all over with some cinnamon and some brown sugar. You shake over it, and some people like raisins, and then you roll it, pull in the sides, and keep rolling it, and then you put it on a cookie sheet, and it's delicious. And now you have dessert to go with your Friday night dinner.
There you go. It's a one-stop shop here.
So that's still at 350 for 30 to 40 minutes? Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say until it looks right, but my daughter's going to be real happy with that one.
It's a nonsense term, but I say that to my husband all the time, and it drives him crazy too. So I've removed our spotlight just so I can see everybody. I'm just wondering if anyone has any questions or how we're doing, or if you want to show off your cooking for me. Okay, amazing. You guys are all pros. You're all Knish pros now. I am super impressed that you were able to follow along with us. I know that I talk quickly. That was me speaking slowly. Oh, good job, Gail. Those are beautiful. Amazing. All right. Well, everybody, I want to thank you so much for joining me for my family prepping for Shabbat night. This was so nice to see everybody. Oh, Sandra, good job. Those are beautiful. And I feel like I would be remiss to say, like, please check out the Beth Tikva website. We have a ton of programs coming up. We have daytime programs for people who are still enjoying life at home, day in and day out. And we've got some evening programs. We have a night on the town coming up. We're doing a virtual escape room. We also have a cocktail and canvases night coming up. And of course, all of our Purim. Hey, good job, Penster. Bill's pointing to it. And all of our Purim stuff is coming up as well. So please stay tuned and keep coming to check out our programs because it's so nice to see everybody.
Thank you. That was great, Ellie. And
oh, so nice to see you, Lillian. I hope to see you at paint night.
Yes. When is it coming up?
That is the second Saturday of March, the 13th.
Perfect. Okay.
And everybody, I did share the recipe in the group chat. So if I went too fast, you can find it there. And how many people do we have? Oh, never mind. That's a direct message. We have 15 people in our escape room. By the way, we have room for 5 more. So come join us. It's a lot of fun. We've actually split into 2 rooms, which is pretty cool.
Nice. Will you send us the recipe to our emails?
I will, absolutely.
Thank you.
My pleasure. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. It's basically
Thanks, Ellie.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Ron.
Thanks, Ellie. Bye.
And
Bye, Susan.
Have a great night, everybody.
Hey, Rihanna.
Hi,
Rihanna.
Thanks,
Hi,
Ellie.
Ellie.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you, Ellie. Thank you,
Brandy.
Susan. It was
Thanks, Ellie. It was fun.
Thanks,
lots of fun.
Ellie. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Ellie. It was great.
Lovely to see you all.
So,
Shalom, everybody.
bye. Oh, we made the filling ahead of time. So,
That's why you're so quick.
well, we added mushrooms and spinach and all kinds of other stuff to it.
Why not?
Fancy.
So you can add, I think you can add anything you want, really, I guess. I don't know.
Honestly, I've added like bok choy and ground chicken and soy sauce and made
Can you turn this off?
Chinese knishes.
Whoa, that sounds good.
It was
Did you
good.
make some?
And it's half sweet potato.
Oh, and half sweet potato, because we didn't have enough other potato. Are they baked already? Susan, are they already baked? No.
Mine?
Yeah, no.
No. I haven't put them in yet. I'm just gonna, I have more dough. Ellie told me not to go too far, but I usually make double the recipe.
Oh, okay.
Because I make enough so I can freeze for quite a while.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Good.
All right. It's an activity for an afternoon.
Absolutely.
No, they're all ready to go.
And please feel free to send me your finished products. I like seeing that everybody makes and that we can burn the house down. Good job, Meltzers. I hope it was Polish enough for you.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, although we lost Leora partway through when she realized she really couldn't eat any of it, but it's all good. We've got a whole 2/3 of a bowl of filling left somehow. So we're going to use that with some kind of rice paper and try to make rice paper knishes. I think they'll actually be really good.
Delicious.
So that's.
I attempted to make using gluten-free flour, some potato knishes.
Flour doesn't hold together.
You know,
you have to use like this dough is such a beautiful dough, but it's not with gluten-free flour. It's not going to roll nicely.
no, well, it rolled okay. It's when I was rolling it, it rolled out okay, but when I was rolling it for the knishes, they started coming apart. They're in the oven now. We'll see what they look like later. But it was worth an attempt.
Oh, good luck with it. I think we're just going to try rice paper. But thank you.
Let us know how they go, guys. All right, I'm going to shut this down. So great to see everybody, and to my mishpacha, who's most of the people left here. Love you guys.